Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy JP. Welcome back to Let's Read Homestuck. It's chapter 4 time, the contest. Oh my god, I'm a few days late on this. This updated like 3 days ago, and I just haven't had the time to read it yet. I did remember to put my phone on silent. I have coffee. There is a really large fly in my home right now, and it is buzzing around very loudly, mind you. This is the worst. I have some coffee and a little bit of water. I have less than an hour to record this too, but I doubt it'll take that long. Let's move on to chapter 4, the contest. What happened last time again? There's a lot of conversations about. It was Dave talking to Kanaya and like Carcat talking to Roxy and how they're all feeling, you know. So okay, light years away on whatever planet this is. Did Dirk's ship fucking crash? They say they were doing a crash landing, right? Uh-oh. Rough. All right. All right, where's the dialogue at, homie? Oh! Okay. That's a lot to handle. I like it a lot. Not gonna lie to you. All right, then. This is like Rosebot or Rose Spirit, right? I forget exactly what the term they're using for her. Are you finished posing dramatically out there? I think Terezi wants a turn. All right, well, Rose, enter. Oh, my lord. That is such a nice outfit for Terezi, too. What is this fucking office? What is this meeting room? I hate this. This is disgusting. I mean, it's on brand for all these characters, but hey. Rosebot, yes. She's more than welcome. I've had my fill. Feels good, doesn't it? Now, get over here. We've got a business to discuss. Rose, render yourself more symbolically this instant. What? Oh, okay. Well, we're back to this old look. The outfit immediately doesn't look good anymore on Terezi. Rose's outfit still looks pretty good. Oh, I forgot how long these can get. All right, let's get this started. Oh, no, Terezi. Fuck. Terezi, you too. I don't remember my Terezi voice. No thanks, I'm good. In fact, now that we're here, I can't imagine anything worse than sitting down with you two for another little chat. You've ruined the very concept of talking for me for the rest of my life. Oh, come on. It wasn't really that bad, was it? Dirk may be completely insufferable. Thanks. But we had some pretty good times over the course of our journey, didn't we? I'm struggling to think of any. Oh, how you wound me. 3 years of anime plot analysis is enough to turn any relationship sour. All right, that's fair. The anime was rather tedious. Wow. But I posit that it could have been much, much worse. At the very least, none of us succumbed to the substance abuse, or re-succumbed, I guess I should say. The perks of not having an appetite or a liver, in my case. In yours, I'm not actually sure. Perhaps the underlying cognitive dissonance of trauma, or trauma that you were originally trying to distract yourself from, is no longer a going concern? Or... no. Wait, no, that's not right. I'm thinking of a different Terezi. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different me? Maybe the different me is thinking of a different Terezi, and I'm just witnessing the thought happen as a bystander. It's much the same at that point. And I suppose I'm also prematurely ruling out the potential of anime functioning as an abusable substance. In which case, I've got very bad news for all of us. We may need to formulate a 12-step plan. Let me know if you start showing any signs of withdrawal. Rose, oh my god, my point couldn't have been made any more obvious if you sat on it. What? Alright, what the fuck does that mean? We may be in complete agreement about Dirk being a tedious... What the nuke wipe? We are? Shh. But newsflash, you aren't actually any better. Sleep without... Oh my god, this sucks. Oh my god, I have to get myself used to this. Sleep without supper doesn't come easy to my species, and yet I somehow managed to spend a good chunk of our 3-year journey unconscious. And that's That's how fucking tedious the two of you are. And the worst part is that neither of you actually have the decency to do anything legitimately awful. You just sit there and drone on, talking about things that don't matter and asking questions that don't have answers. We're on a new planet, seeing things which have possibly never been experienced before, and all you can think to do is hole up in a cave and regurgitate completely pointless bullshit. It's called philosophizing? Well, it should be illegal as far as I'm concerned. I immediately went into like Sieg word mode instead of just a regular Stop calling her that. What? Stop calling her that? Okay, sure. Okay, I'm done. Screw you both. I'm going to go introduce some plants of the troll emotion that we call terror. Well, if you change your mind about philosophy, I won't. Okay. Fair enough. Terezi going off. That's such a good outfit, man. That was odd. Even by Terezi standards. She's fine. Doubtless, wouldn't it be best for us to wait for her to return before discussing our future plan? Whether she likes it or not, she is part of this goofy expedition. She isn't a part of this, though. A part of this? This. Uh-oh. Okay, Dirk. Your arms got weirdly long. Why can you always fucking see this sweet bro tattoo? You mean she isn't a god? She isn't a ruler? She isn't suited for it? And we are? Uh-oh. Dirk might be power tripping. I don't like the way he talks like that. Come on, you know that we are. But I think that I can present a pretty convincing case if need be. So you want to have a dialect about it first, just to be sure. I'm game. Where shall our allegory begin? Beg pardon? Oh, come on. The cave? I have to say I'm a little disappointed in you. 3 years and not once did I witness you replacing any parts of the ship. How are we to jerk ourselves off philosophically if you don't lean into your clumsy illusions? It's a fair question, but since the name you suggested was nothing more than a very juvenile play on words, I can't say that you've got much ground to stand on. What's juvenile about the can't? Nothing. At least not when you say it. It's not my fault that you sound like a gay cowboy. Wait, what? Is that Dirk? Does Dirk have a gay cowboy? Is Dirk Southern? There's no way. Can't? What's a gay cowboy? Okay, hold on. I'm assuming cowboy is obviously like a southern drawl kind of thing. You let certain words hold on a little longer. But is the gay part like the stereotypical like lisp kind of the stereotypical kind of lisp thing? How do I visualize this? This is can't. Well, I'm sorry, honey, but I can't. I hate that. Well, now I have to read it in his. Okay. See what I had to deal with? And yes, I'm still here for the time being. I want to keep things brief, narratively speaking. Look, we can have this argument later. I'll pencil it in. For now, we'll have to talk about Deltrius. Oh my god. I'm already going to start course correcting into this voice. What? Okay. I'd suggest a preliminary topic of discussion. Shoot. Or rather, a point of construction criticism. The name. Yes. It absolutely blows. Okay. On the interest of open-minded discourse, I'd like to counter by saying that I think it's pretty dope. But it's fine. We don't got to settle for that. Do you have any better suggestions? No, I'm simply making an observation. Sigh. You could have at least come up with an alternative. Making shit is hard. I think having a good name for this planet is an important first step into telling its story, which is what we're here to do. This is a surprisingly easy voice to course correct into. I agree. Names are potent symbols after all. I think we just have a different understanding of what a good name entails in this instance. Huh? To be clear, I think it's a perfect name for this place. I just think that when it comes to habitable planets, that there is some unwritten law of our reality which dictates the names should be either boring, like Earth, or insufferable, like Alternia or Before Us. Or deleterious. Alright, I get it. Insufferably boring gets you a bonus point. I think that's I think that's partly the point of it. It's a name to be lived on. It becomes kind of furniture, so to speak, or I suppose you could see it in a place of origin. The absolute 0 point of growth, kind of like a family name. A name some people are always trying to leave behind because it's the only way to be sure that one is moving at all. Because, it's the dirt beneath your feet. So, I suppose in a way, every planet is Earth. Right, well, we're not going to call this planet Earth as well, though. No, that would be far too cliche. Quadruply so, even. Deleterious it is. It's amazing how you've managed to both shit on my idea and make it seem a lot better justified in hindsight. Well, of course, I'm an author. I apply my trade on well-justified bullshit. Anyway, to business, again. Yeah, the point is we'll be building an intelligent life on this planet from scratch. That was one of our key mistakes on Earth. We should have started our guidance from the very beginning instead of letting it grow organically in our image. I'm not sure I agree, but go on. Hold on. I need to also drink this coffee while doing it. I'm getting over sickness right now, so my nose is all fucked up too. Oh, man. Let's get this bread. No, please knock yourself out. We've stayed on this topic for a few seconds, and I'd hate to make it a habit. I'm moving into like Maryland accent. Yikes. Our old world was abandoned by its gods, or I suppose its gods never reached it. The trolls beat their game, but they were unable to actually claim the reward and take their places on its pantheon. In a sense, our creators abandoned us. And while I can't say that our world developed well, I don't think that would have been better off being guided, especially considering who would have been doing the steering. Although I guess you can't really prove these kind of negative statement. You can't really prove that kind of negative statement. Anyway, what exactly are you proposing? Ever heard of the watchmaker analogy? Yes. Damn. Okay. Well, humor me anyway. Well, I guess that's one way to explain it to the readers. Say you're an alien and you're walking on a beach. An Earth beach, if that wasn't clear. You're an alien who has never come into contact with the human race before. So say you're an alien and you find a pocket watch on the beach. You've never seen anything like it before. And you pick it up and open it up and try to figure out how it works. And you see all the gears moving smoothly, all the pieces fitting together in a flawless interlocking pattern. Looking at the face, you realize that it keeps perfect time. You, the alien, ask yourself, how could something so perfect with a flawless form suited to its task have come into being? And so the argument goes, someone created it. Time needed to be told, so a craftsman made something to tell it. Exactly. This analogy has always struck me as extremely contrived. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, how many fucking pocket watches does one usually stumble across on the ground randomly? Fuck it. Who stumbles across a pocket watch anywhere? This isn't the goddamn 1800s. The point in history when people were famously tripping over errant clockwork every time they went outside. And don't forget, there are aliens in this version of history too. Yeah. I think I might have made that part up though. Probably wasn't part of the original. Although, considering this version of Earth's history I was familiar with, I guess the aliens ended up being the most believable thing of the whole setup. I suppose, in a way, the argument's own existence fulfills the same philosophical premise as the analogy itself. It's a scenario perfectly suited to its function, which is to conceive you of the existence of intelligent design. What? Oh my god. These two characters, I swear to God, they use so many big words. One that is so unlikely to have arisen by the chance of presence of an artificer and a natural conclusion. Why'd I read that in Dirk's voice? It is a weird spiral concept, really. Its creator is all the way down. Haha, yeah. But I guess the response here would be that this is an argument in favor of the intelligent design being a factor in the creation of the universe. It's not an argument that intelligent design should be a factor in the creation of a universe. That is a question of morality. True. But if intelligent design is a reality, and I think our experiences indicate that, yeah, there's a pretty good chance that wouldn't be failing to continue if it was an abdication of our responsibility. If we can order this world and we fail to, is that really any better than smashing the watch ourselves? You don't want to be responsible for screwing it up, and I get that. But failing to act isn't any more morally justifiable than acting wrongly. I'm having a lot of trouble keeping up, but I think I'm understanding what this philosophy that they're both spewing out is. The idea that leaving a planet to grow organically is more morally sound, This is Rose perspective, the Rosebot perspective. It's more morally sound to let the planet grow organically because life itself will find a way, and you can't really trust the person. You can't really trust any one being to really guide and lead an entire race. And Dirk's philosophy is like, well, if somebody doesn't lead them, then it could just go just as wrong as the last one did. These are both very valid points. I can't believe they actually are talking about philosophy. Terezi got mad at this. So it's really a moral argument that you're making. It sounds like we've detoured into the trolley problem here, or maybe derailed into a more appropriate descriptor. I hope nobody's tied to the tracks in this conversation, at least. Rose, you were avoiding the question. You came to this planet, you saw it in your mind's eye, and chose to came here. More or less. Wasn't that because on some level you wanted to have a hand in its future? Maybe. I think so. It's a bit hard to weigh the motivations for coming against... Oh my god. It's a bit hard to weigh my motivations for coming against the reality of what we're propositing to do here. In a sense, I'm not quite sure how to even go about making this kind of calculation. I want to create something wholly new, something that's ours, but I can't really help but wonder, what right do the two of us specifically have to do that? We won the game, though. We're literally fucking creators. We haven't had much of a right as anyone. We have as much as a right as anyone possibly could. I'm not sure I feel so good about putting that victory on my resume, especially not since so much luck was involved, while the conclusion was simultaneously determined from the very beginning. A paradox which is typical of the complete mess that is our lives, and which probably makes no sense to anyone but us. I suppose that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. We quite possibly know more about our reality than anyone else ever could, and you could say that makes us plenty qualified, but it's self-same knowledge that tells me that maybe nobody could ever be qualified for this kind of creative endeavor. She's avoiding the question again. Again? Wow. She's avoiding the question again. It's amazing how one can technically have the maximum amount of metaphysical personal awareness possible and still not notice this sort of things. Notice these sort of things. Notice? It's stuff like these that makes me wonder whether there's anything about myself that I'm missing. Then I throw that wonder in the garbage can and turn the incinerator setting on. It's a little bit ironic self-deprecation on my part. I know that I recently made a habit of simply discarding things that are pointlessly difficult or irritating, or, if you're so inclined, uncomfortable. It's something I've learned in order to cope with... Well, never mind. It's better this way. I'm not going to air my trauma or whatever in front of y'all. And the point is that knowing all about this doesn't mean that I won't do it again, nor do I necessarily make it easy for me to stop if I wanted to. Personal failings, if you can call this one, don't work that way. I would know. I know Rose is probably just the same. She sees it happening and can't stop it, takes a strange pride in knowing herself so well. And at the same time, she feels hurt to be so utterly predictable to herself. That's a pain that you have to learn to lean into when presented with the sum total of possible self-knowledge. I suppose that this actually answers the question about ultimate self-awareness. Damn, did we just justify that ultimately solve a mystery in the space of a few paragraphs? I think we might have. Good work, us. Even so, I want to do this. I have to want it. Nor, how could I? After everything we gave up to make it happen, walking away at this point would be, well, regardless, we don't have the option. The Thesius is total. Oh, the Thesius was the name of the ship. Yep. The Thesius is totaled. I almost want to make a joke about us not getting it insured, though I'm worried it might indicate that what Dave would call early onset responsible adult syndrome. It's easy for him to make fun of us. He's immune. Possibly. He certainly wasn't showing any symptoms of his last checkup, but that was well over 3 years ago at this point. Rose looks off into space, seeming to exist at a very great distance for a while, and then at a perfectly calculated moment, she chuckles again and almost mournfully to herself. I'm rambling again. Told you so. It's okay. I'm sure there was some good reasoning buried fuck deep in there somewhere. Future archaeologists will unearth it eventually. It sounds like maybe you've made up your mind. Maybe. She hesitates again. Not sure? Oh, come on, Rose. Yes, you are. You know that this is what you want to do. More than that, you know that this is the right thing to do. Might as well get over it. Fine. Excellent. What? Don't look at me like that. She was already on board with it in all but name. We both know it, so why waste our time? You've got better things to do as of right now. So do Rose and I. I cordially invite you to fuck off with your judgmental attitude, in which I mean fuck right back off here because, hey, we've still got important expedition to deal with. Important exposition. This is a long-ass page. You mentioned playing a game together. I take it that this is involved somehow? Bingo. And I take it that the format you play in is as well. In mind, I take it that you have a format to play in mind as well? Kill me. Yep. So I guess the basic premise is, yeah, we could establish a new civilizations on Deltrius, cook up a new freakish alien species, and steer them towards playing the game at a distance using the command terminal. It would certainly be a challenging application of our combined skills, but it doesn't really strike me as being all that fun itself. For clarity's sake, the second game you're referring to here is the game that we played 10 years ago. Spurb, or Scrub, I guess, whether it be called this time or whatever it'll be called this time around. Yeah, that's the game. Gotta be careful with those capitals. The game between the two of us is going to be different. I propose that we turn this into a contest of sorts. Each of us takes responsibility for creating our own separate species, each with their own design, society, and culture. Then we pit them against each other, pit them against one another, and see which will ultimately play the game. For the love of God, let's please call it something else. If not only for the sanity-fraying memories of memes long past. That's our culture you're talking about. Have some goddamn respect. Actually, it was my culture. I think it was more accurate to say that you appropriated it 400 years later. You're right. I'm sorry. Mea culpa. I regret everything. Man, that was the longest goddamn page I've read in a long time. This is an absolutely horrifying idea. I'm no longer on Dirk's side for this idea. What the fuck? They're both going to create separate races on this planet. They're both going to play. They're going to play civilization essentially, and whichever race gets wiped out first will lose. The remaining race will stay, and they'll play Spurb. Why are we doing Spurb again? Why would either of you be okay with doing Spurb again? Jesus, this is weird. I don't like this idea. Bullshit aside, that's the contest I'd like to propose. 2 gods, 2 species, 1 copy of the game. We have a lot of time to kill before it's ready to play, and we might as well have some fun in the meantime. I'm intrigued. It's good. Intrigued is good. I have a few questions before we begin. First and most pressing, how do you propose we go about doing this? What are our raw materials? Unless you're planning on giving me a rib, I'm not sure what we're going to work from. It's fair enough. That doesn't appear to be anything in the way of animal life on this planet for us to use, but it's not really important. We've got all the raw materials we need already. Quite literally, in fact. We're going to make the new species out of us. I see. Don't worry, it doesn't imply actually breaking ourselves down into usable matter or anything like that. What I mean is that we have 2 humans worth of genetic material to... I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like this. I don't fucking like this. What I mean is that we have 2 humans worth of genetic material to start from, and more importantly, the technology to use the materials to synthesize something new. So, ectobiology then. That's part of it. Let's take this into the lab. The lab? Yeah. It's just another fucking cave, okay? Proceed to the lab, Rose and Dirk. I don't like this. I mean, ectobiology, okay, at least it's ectobiology. I really thought Dirk was like, I gotta fuck the robot. It's in character. I mean, it is still a female robot, so he really wouldn't want to, but I don't know, man. This is weird. Why the fuck do you have this entire machine set up in this cave? Okay, hold on. Uh-oh, I'm hearing footsteps upstairs. This cave has a lab-like ambience, I'll give it that, and I've seen a few labs in my time. Sweet. It's got a lawn witticism of approval. No honor could be higher. I'm sure I could have come up with something better if I wasn't still internally reeling at the prospect of us becoming our own biblical progenitors. Yeah, the old bearded man in the sky wishes he had one of these babies, though. All he had was heterosexuality and a very long con. Although I guess they're both essentially the same thing. Oh, shit. Sure. There's something so delicious about the 2 of us being the ones to populate an entire planet from scratch. The irony doesn't get much sweeter. How quickly you'll learn, my child. I'm so proud of you. Anyway, that horseshit aside, it turns out that basically all the equipment that Spurb gave us to be integrated into one device with the ability to perform both alchemical and ectobiological functions. The idea is pretty simple. We each contribute our own genetic sequences in the form of paradox slime and then use it as a base to graft a new material onto using alchemy. Doesn't that strike you as a little, what, incestuous, slurry adjacent? Oh, that wouldn't be an issue. We're going to be keeping our slime to ourselves. How courteous. In any case, after the base material is collected and the alchemical mix is finished, we'll rapidly accelerate the development of the synthesized life form to the point at which they can form a society of sorts. So, in theory, what the mayor and his associates did on Earth-C, but on a larger in scope. Instead of staying within the framework of a species that already exists. And here, we won't be waiting thousands of years for development to happen in real time. This plays into our advantage in more ways than one. For one thing, it's pretty clear that we aren't going to get this right on the first try. We've been conceiving this for a long time in many individual moves, each of us building and advancing in response to the concepts thrown out by the other. Think of this as a collaborative world building. All those D&D nights in the media finally turned to my advantage. Okay, I think I understand the premise as well. Why don't you start things off? Roll the first die. All right, sweet. Boy, we're playing D&D. What the... Okay. How long ago was this? This was back... Broblerone. This was back in the cave. All right, ecto-clone. Put your slime in the tube. First things first, getting a hold of myself. There's about 15 different unfunny jokes we can make about that, but let's just fucking chill for once in our goddamn lives. Agreed. And I'll make no mention of you sucking yourself in any capacity. God shitting damn it. Dirk being Southern is actually adding a different kind of humor to this, and I like this a lot. Is that a fucking Punnett square? What are we doing? Is this DNA? Okay, yeah, those are the ribosomes. We're doing DNA. Why did I remember that word? Is that correct? I don't know if that's correct, but it feels correct. Next up, we're adding mutations. We can use any old shit for this. Literally, mixing any capture logable object can be added into the mix by inserting its card into one of these slots here, and by using the combination of A and Ds or ORs and so on, we can apply the science of alchemy to that ectobiological, alchemical biology, if you will. The original process of breeding, the Genesis frog, we'd be doing is kind of the opposite, screening out the distortions in this divine genetic waveform, so to speak. Here, we're adding noise deliberately. Kind of like genetic... What? SBAJIfication. Inside of this machine is one artificial genetic infidelity bonanza. David approved. I didn't internalize any of that page. Also, did you capture log Gushers? A weird plant and a slime doll equals what the fuck is that? The ribosomes are going crazy, boy. Sup? I thought you had to punch in the cards to use them in the shunt slots. I recall devising a sequence of analogies for the process in my walkthrough once upon a time. Hardly my best work, but the principles were sound. No, you're right. I was politely self-efficating, Dirk. You didn't have to agree with me. About the holes in the cards, I mean. It's not really sure why I have to do that anymore. I think this machine punches the cards with the correct pattern once you put them in. Although the implication is that somehow it reads what is on the card in order to punch it in with the holes to enable it to read the same information. That sounds like the appropriate degree of profound ridiculousness. I love it. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised to remember anything about this shit, even though we can't technically forget anything anymore. Me too. It's amazing what pieces of inconsequential information your mind can recall at a moment's notice, a whole decade after they were last relevant or interesting to anybody. I think I missed this. I just realized I have to text people. Okay, that should be everything taken care of. This will be the first move, the opening gambit in the grand game of fate for this planet. All that remains is to see the result. Indeed. Press the button, Doctor. Dirk, press the button. Push the button. Dirk is pushing the button. Ecto-alchemize. I really like these proportions for Dirk when he just looks like Big Bro again. Behold. Oh my god, what the fuck is going to come out of this? What if it's just Dave? My creation. They look so fucking cool. I'm going to make this the screen. I'm going to make this the thumbnail. They look so goddamn cool, man. Nope, never mind. This is the thumbnail. This is it right here. Ecto-alchemization complete. I'm gonna save this right now before I forget. This is the thumbnail. I don't know if you guys are seeing how I do this, but I'm doing it right now. Fantastic. He's a gusher plant. Gusher slime plant. Spiky boy. I love him. Oh, I'm so happy. He's just vibrating. Dirk, Rose. Game on. Hell yeah, that's the exact vibe we need, Rose. All right, that's the end of chapter 4. Jesus Christ. All right, what happened today? Well, we created new life and Terezi fucked off. That's what happened. Not a lot. 143 pages in and we're still working on setup. The very idea of there being a new spurb, horrifying. I don't like where that's going. I like, not only do I like personally get uncomfortable, I don't think it's a good place to go writing wise. But hey, man, whatever you're gonna do, hussy, you're gonna do it. I mean, the fuck you? Who cares what I have to say, really? I didn't even look at myself in frame at all during this episode. I don't know if I've been peaking my audio. I think I might have peaked audio a lot today because I have not been paying attention to my audio at all. We'll see what I can do in post. I'm looking at myself now. And, yep. You know what? I just remembered that. I don't know if I gave this update last time. But, where is it? I think it's on the home. It's on the bonus page. How do I... How do I go? Oh, no. Patreon. There's a button for Patreon. The Homestuck Patreon. I never ended up actually donating to it because the next week, after the episode where I mentioned that Patreon like did it, like Patreon do it. They did it. They ended up reaching it. So I don't remember when they reached this. I want to say it was a month ago. So that means I think next month there are going to be 2 updates a month, meaning I'm going to be doing this more often. Hell yeah, dude. Absolutely sickening. So, with that all being said, I don't really have a lot to say about this one. This chapter was really just a lot of Dirk and Rose being very smart at each other and philosophizing. So, I'm more excited to know what's going to happen next time we see them. This has been JP, and please don't die until my next video comes out.